I focused on the children's storybook Alice in Wonderland, focusing on Disney's representation. I chose to recreate the scene with Alice meeting the flowers as it's aesthetically pleasing for the kids. My target year level was foundation year, and I chose to use a combination of cam and electric systems to depict Alice meeting the flowers. Cams are a mechanical device that convert rotary motion into linear motion. I chose cam systems to recreate the rustling movements of the flowers in the story. An electric system is a closed loop, a circuit consisting of a supplier of energy, conductors, and a converter that work together to transport negative electric charges. I chose to work with an electric circuit because I enjoyed working with it in week 7, and I also thought that Alice would benefit from a lit up dress to help her stand out on the model. Alice in Wonderland is a children's storybook that's been circulated and widely well known since 1895. Within the past 157 years, the story has been rewritten and recreated many times over, leading the story to evolve into a classic. Alice's story has led to the creation of movies and inspired a wealth of authors, and due to this magnitude of diverse sources, it required us to spend a lot of our investigating time scouring the web for the version of the story that was age appropriate. We decided we would work with Disney's Alice in Wonderland, and after we were happy with this, we discussed our intentions with the assignment and we aligned our goals. We then went off and drew initial designs, which we then combined and drew a final design. We then divided up the tasks and went off to complete them on our own. To produce the diorama, I used recycled materials that I had lying around the house. I was lucky enough that the only paper I had in the house was a green crinkly textured type, which worked perfectly to imitate the leaves and stems. I was lucky that I held on to a lot of my sewing scraps, and as I used them as my main material throughout the diorama. I also used a solder, hot glue guns, and lots of wire to keep everything together. The production of the diorama was difficult in the regard I had to gradually add in the electric circuit, as the wires needed to be hidden, which meant they had to be built into a few of the components beforehand. The cam system required a lot of thought during the production. In concept, it was simple, but as we realised, the cam system kit was smaller than we expected, and so we hadn't accounted for the weight distribution and sizing. We had to make it up by making our own cam parts. I was able to get the two systems to work interdependently, and I believe I did it creatively and engagingly, so I would say I completed the task. Reflecting on the independent systems, I see there is room for improvement, which could be achieved with larger cam system components, more steady cardboard, and extra time. The process used was logical and overall successful, but could have been done with more thought-out design. In the investigation and design stage, my partner and I worked succinctly, collaborating and delegating roles evenly. As we entered the production stage, my partner's situation changed, leaving her unable to contribute much to the rest of the assignment. We were able to negotiate and compromise, but in the end, she was unable to complete her roles, so I had to in a constricted time frame, leaving Alice much to the imagination. I was aware of the danger of the wires, and all of the upright components in the diorama were held up using wires, so I had to make sure they were fastened safely within the box. I did this by leaving a few centimeters of wire at the base of the stem so I could thread it through the box and secure it. I also soldered the conductors within the electric system and covered the two exposed wires in aluminium foil, creating a switch. The skewers were covered on both ends using cork bottle caps and a straw. This is my cam system working together. Thank you.